let's shift gears to something a bit sadder and also, well, also kind of sad because it's dealing with death. But the OnlyFans creator, Leonid Radvinsky, he dies at 43 years old following a secret battle with cancer. And I was thinking about that because, for one, I'm 43 for a couple more days, and I'm worried about cancer, right? I quit smoking 20 years ago, all that jazz. But this guy, man, like this guy literally created another form of cancer, a digital form of cancer. And I'm not against gooning. Okay. I think you should rock out with your cock out when you are completely by yourself. And if you want to pay somebody for feet pics or butthole pics, I'm not against that. I don't have any problem with that. What you do in the privacy of your own home is you. Okay. Now, if you end up getting caught by your wife and it kills your marriage, again, that's your fault, not my fault, not their fault because they're just selling a product. But at the same time, so many women have turned to OnlyFans or equivalent to OnlyFans as a way to make extra money because of where society goes, and sex is always going to sell. It's always going to sell. I think, was it Bonnie Blue got booted off of OnlyFans because she was gonna get like a 1,000-person gangbang or something, and it was just like they're like, "Whoa, man, like, look, you can put a marker up your ass, but fucking 1,000 dudes in a day, that's way too much." But that's kind of, I mean, that's my take on OnlyFans, at least. So it is crazy to think about this though, where, Leo Radovinsky here, dying at the age of 43. He's a notoriously secretive billionaire, hid his cancer. And this guy, no, sorry, he's not the creator. I was wrong. He's just he owns it. He bought the platform back in 2018 and then took a 20% cut of basically the entire internet's digital sex work economy. It's a great system for capitalists. This guy was making a ton of money off of literally the barebacks of a lot of women and dudes and dudes. I'm not going to discriminate. There's a lot of people on there, and trans people I think are on there as well. Look, there's everyone's got their kinks. You know what I mean? It's perfectly fine. But you really cannot overstate the sheer scale of what Leo built, and then ultimately like was controlling from the shadows. Right? That's like the weird thing about it. That's kind of why I think this story is so interesting. So, like, during the pandemic, he essentially re-engineered like the modern gig economy, during the time when everybody was home and people weren't working. And sure, a lot of them are getting paid. Not me. I was doing food delivery, like a chump. Should have been out there, shaking my wang and been like, you like you like some twigs and berries. Anyway, but what you've got is you've got all of these women, right? Teachers, nurses, celebrities flocking to this platform just to survive, or to cash in on what is really known as a massively captive audience. And there was a lot of people that built their entire organizations. They built everything, back in 2020 during the shutdown because people were home and were desperate for content. But really, this guy created a system that, like, very much altered parasocial relationships as well as digital monetization, and it didn't just, like, stay with OnlyFans. It really moved itself outwards, like, TikTok and YouTube and other platforms as well, where it's like, even when I was live streaming movie stuff, I'd have people that were channel members, and they would make, like, I don't wanna say, like, demands, but it's like they would get kinda parasocial about it. I had one guy that would want me to do karaoke all the time, and I can't sing for shit, but he would, like, drop, like, 40, $50 for me to sing a song, and it was just like, people were like, don't do it," but I'm like, "This guy's paying, like, good money to have me embarrass myself for 2.5 minutes. I might as well fucking do it," you know? And then he disappeared for a while, but even he's coming back now, and I'm like, "We're not doing karaoke again. Times have changed or my price has gone up." But that's my whole point, is that, like, that kind of captive audience with a lot of money coming in and really not much to spend it on if you're not going anywhere, kind of push that, and it's weird to look at it through this analogy, but it's almost like he was like the Wizard of Oz for, like, a modern smut empire, pulling the levers from behind the scenes while making an absolute shit ton of money. But now we get into I would argue, the more interesting aspect of things because now that he's gone, there's a vacuum, right? There's a power vacuum here, and we don't quite know what's gonna happen yet. This is a platform that operates entirely on user trust and, like, creator payouts, and his ownership was reportedly moved into a trust, but there have been rumors of a sale and the company itself being valued at over 5 billion, but nobody really knows what happens next, right? And there's a lot of people right now. We're talking millions of OnlyFans creators around the world, from like massive influencers to just people trying to like pay their rent or get fucking baby food. And they aren't going to know if their platform is going to be bought and sold by another company. Like, the guy who owns Pornhub or something, right? Or the guy who owns Brazzers or one of those companies. I could see Pornhub doing it and then integrating it in there. That is one of those elements where you're like, I don't know what's going to go on here, guys. Like, this could get a little bit crazy. And they may not know um really what's going to happen next because the platform lost its architect, right? It lost its wizard. And so now we're going to wait to see if Emerald City will fall. And that is going to be where things get really fucking interesting.